Hello everyone, this is Daughter Darkness, and today I'm going to be talking about the news which came out last night about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and the fact that it's going to be told not in one game, as most people had assumed, but that it would going to be a multi-part series. Now, there's been a lot of kind of angry reaction, and people not very happy about this, which seems to happen every time they make an announcement about Final Fantasy VII Remake, but in this case, I'll admit at the start I was like, what? Square, what are you doing? But then, things kind of settled down. I thought, okay, I'm gonna, leave it to them. I'm not gonna just start hating them because of something that I don't really know the situation of. And then when we find out more, it's something that makes really good sense, and it actually makes me really excited for this remake. And that is the fact that, well, as NOMURA says, the full remake of Final Fantasy VII was too much for one PS4 game, and that if they were to put it all into one game, then they would have to compromise on things. They wouldn't be able to realise the ambitions of what they've been left behind. And for me, that seems like the best explanation that there could possibly be. And it's one that people are going to benefit from, because as I said this on Twitter last night, I would rather get the perfect game, the one that everyone's been waiting for, the one that everyone wants, in multiple parts, than get some sort of thrown together substandard individual game. So I fully support this decision from Square. They've got to do the best thing for the game, and that seems to be what they're doing. And yes, of course they will make more money from it if they sell it in 3 parts or 4 parts or whatever, but at the end of the day, they're putting more money into it, because if each game is going to be the size of a standard PS4 game, then you're still getting your money's worth, more than your money's worth, because Final Fantasy VII is such a huge, amazing game, or so people say, that it's going to be made into something even better. So you're still getting value for money, and it seems fair to me that if the Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be so much bigger, so much more content than anything else on the PS4, it seems perfectly fair to me that Square should release it twice, or release multiple parts, and get more money from it, because otherwise they're going to make a loss. And at the end of the day, they're a corporation, they want to make money. Okay, if I just take a moment to think about the original Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII has always been a game in multiple parts. Yes, they release at the same time, but the fact of the matter is Final Fantasy VII was too big to fit on a PS1 disc. It had to fit on 3. So, it makes sense that if they're completely remaking that from the ground up, and they're having to turn everything into full 3D models on a huge scale, all the models and working together, all the voice acting that they've got to add into it, all that kind of stuff. Yes, you could say the discs now have all that much more than what the PS1 discs had, but the game has advanced so much as well, and Final Fantasy VII was one of the biggest games on the PS1. It couldn't fit onto one disc, it had to fit on 3, so it makes sense that the remake of everything in the original, plus more, made into a full 3D world based on today's technological standards. Of course that's not going to fit onto one disc. I almost feel stupid that I didn't realise that before. What I do believe is I think that this Final Fantasy VII series is going to be 3 parts. I think there's going to be they're going to release 3 games in this sort of remake series, and each part is going to be the equivalent of one of the discs on the PS1. And I think this is just good news, because they can now do so much more than they could have done on one disc. They can do more than just do justice to the original. They can put everything on an even greater scale. We thought we were getting one Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we're going to be getting more than one now. We're getting a whole series. We're getting more content than we could possibly imagine. This is nothing but a good thing. So I hope that anyone who is still angry about it can understand now. One small thing I'm going to mention is some people have said, if it was Kingdom Hearts then you'd be angry. No, I wouldn't. I mean, it's not really relevant to talk about Kingdom Hearts because, well, none of the currently announced Kingdom Hearts games are going to be in multiple parts because they don't need to be. If it happens in the future and they make a Kingdom Hearts game so big that it can't fit onto one disc, then yes, make it in multiple parts. Don't compromise. The best sort of explanation of this I found, it was a weird one, but it was from SpiritBlade, and he basically said that, think of it like the Deathly Hallows, and the Deathly Hallows book had a lot of content jammed into the 600 pages, so to do justice to the original, they had to put it into 2 parts, to 2 separate films. If the Deathly Hallows had been 1 film, they'd have had to compromise on a lot of stuff. And it's a similar situation here. If Square want to do justice for this game, it makes full sense for them to make more than 1 game. A 3-part series, a 4-part series, whatever. It's not a bad thing. I think that they're going to probably be releasing maybe 1 game a year, not necessarily from now, maybe 2017, 18 and 19 or something like that. We can't really say for sure. But yeah, it's good news, I think. They're making so much, and we're going to get even more than we ever could have imagined. So those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? What do you think about this announcement that the remake is going to be in multiple parts? Please leave your thoughts in the comment section below the video. And while you're down there, please like this video if you did. And if you liked it, then check out my other videos and subscribe to this channel. And as always, thank you for watching.